Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to 01460 On the Go, Littleton's podcast for Littleton by Littleton. We're here in the beautiful LCTV studios. My name's Karen Morrison. I am on the select board, and I'm here with Rachel Robinson.
Hi.
Rachel is on the Littleton Historical Commission, and today we're going to be talking about Littleton's 250th anniversary celebration.
Of Patriots Day.
Of Patriots Day, right. And let's start. What day?
April 19th.
And what are we doing to celebrate?
So every year, the Littleton Historical Commission does a celebration of Patriots Day, which is always, the original day was April 19th, 1775. So we always commemorate that day. We gather at Liberty Square, which is where the Littleton Minutemen left from. And so we 7 p.m., we get there, we do a wreath laying ceremony. Someone plays taps. A select board member usually gives a small speech. Our chairperson usually gives a speech. It's all of 15 minutes, but it's very sweet, and we go about our day. So this year, it being the 250th anniversary of Patriots Day, we decided, and it's a Saturday, we decided that we were going to kind of go big on this and make it into a larger event. So we are moving our customary event, the Liberty Square event, to 10 a.m. And again, it'll be a little bit longer because it is a bigger event this year. So maybe all of 30 minutes. And then everyone will leave from there and go down to Fay Park. The Fay Park celebration really is from 11 to 3. And that will be more of a town-wide event. Just celebrating coming together as a town and celebrating Patriots Day.
So I was not born in Massachusetts, much less New England. I am from the Midwest, and I had never heard of Patriots Day.
Yeah.
So maybe for assuming that not everybody here listening knows what Patriots Day is celebrating, can you take us and talk about that a minute?
Absolutely. So I'm sure even if you never heard of Patriots Day, you probably heard the shot heard around the world. So yes. That's what Patriots Day is, basically. It's a very simple version of it. Historians, please don't be angry at me. The lead up to the Revolutionary War, which for many people feel that Patriots Day is sort of like the real catalyst. Like once Patriots Day came, there was kind of no going back. We were in the war. And there was a lot of events of the American Revolution that happened even earlier. So, the Boston Harbor, the Tea Party was December 1773. So that had already well happened. Boston Massacre was in 1770. So a lot of these events had already been transpiring. And what was happening in April 1775, the Crown spies were coming through. They were trying to find weapons that the colonialists were hiding. And they'd heard that a lot of weapons were being held out at Concord. So they were coming out to finding it. And so Concord was kind of like trying to spread out everything, make sure everything wasn't being found. And then when they decided to march to Concord, the Redcoats, I'm sure, again, you also know Paul Revere, the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. He leaves Boston, and the lanterns, one by land, two if by sea. If I get that wrong. One of by land, two if by sea. So he goes out, he rides. He's not the only one. There are other people that are riding with him, but he's the big one. And so he comes out. He certainly comes out this way because he's captured in Concord later. And so he lets everyone know. At this point, early April, end of March, a lot of the towns in the area, or a lot of towns in Massachusetts, had already started to create small militias and Minutemen militias. So they were already kind of mustering and getting ready, and the whole Minuteman, they were supposed to be ready within a minute. And these are just farmers. They're people that are not career soldiers or anything like that. They're just supposed to be ready to go. So the morning of April 19th, they're alerted by Paul Revere and other messengers that they kind of hear, and they keep spreading around, disseminating through all the towns. And so they march to Concord. So Littleton, about 150 men gather at Liberty Square, and they march to Concord. So they leave probably somewhere in the area, like by dawn, in the area, 5 a.m.
Okay.
I don't know that we have an exact time. But they get to Concord by about 7 a.m. And then, so the Redcoats have already gotten, at that point, they've gotten to Lexington, where they've faced off with the Lexington militia. And shots are fired from the Redcoats. A few people, I think 10 from Lexington are killed. Don't quote me on that number, I believe. And then they move on to Concord. So everyone sort of congregates in Concord, and then that is where, at the Old North Bridge, where the battle happens, and that's as Henry Wadsworth Longfellow encapsulates. I'm pretty sure that's the poet, and now I'm questioning that. Maybe cut that.
I'm sure we'll get an email. If not, we can correct the record next time.
The shot heard around the world. He quotes that. It's on the statue there of the Minuteman. So that kind of becomes why Concord kind of becomes famous. This is the shot that heard around the world. So there's always a lot of fighting between Concord and Lexington about like where the action really happened. And so there was the fighting in Concord, and then the Redcoats proceed back into Boston, and a lot of the militias and Minutemen, they follow them, and they're shooting at them the whole way, and they kind of they fight back. And then that's kind of now we're in it. Now it's war.
Yeah. Got it.
So that's a very overview. There's so many other books to read on it. That's a very brief overview of what happened. Very simplistic version.
So that's what we're celebrating and remembering. And then what's going to be happening? What's happening at Fay Park?
So we are going to have, we'll have a food truck, at least one food truck, or maybe a couple others. Dirigible will be there, and they actually have a beer that they have worked with the Acton 250th committee. They got their act together a lot earlier than we did. But they have a nice porter that they're selling in celebration of the 250th, which is really wonderful. It's a very tasty beer. So Dirigible will be there. So we'll have some food, we'll have some drink, and then we're going to have games set up for kids. So we'll have some inflatable ball games. We'll have croquet and bocce. Maybe what's the sand one? Not sand one. What's the tossing one?
Oh, like beanbags or
cornhole?
Cornhole. Oh, of course. Of course.
So of cornhole, and then we'll also have arts and crafts for the kids to do. So going on the lantern theme for Paul Revere. We have a little lantern kit that we're going to get. The kids can take that home with them. They can decorate it there. They can make their own little lantern. Some dress-up costume stuff that they can dress up as a Revolutionary soldier and take some pictures. And a few other little crafts and toys things.
You mentioned earlier when we were talking, you mentioned stocks.
Yes. Oh, yes. And we have a gentleman from our historical commission who is going to make stocks. And now that I've put it out there, he absolutely has to do it. He's going to make stocks, and then we have some fruit vegetables that you can, so you can be in the stocks and you can throw them at the people in the stocks. They're very soft. It'll be fine.
This sounds like a very family-friendly event.
I hope so. Yeah. That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot. Forgive me, but I think there, you hear historical, celebration. You might think of, something that's a little more staid and a little more grown up and maybe a little drier. But this sounds like you're really reaching out to make this a community-wide event.
We are, and and that's if there are also any other organizations or groups that do want to be a part of this, please reach out. We would love to have other organizations and groups. The Historical Society will be open. They have they've opened a new exhibit that will be on and available to go in there and look at that, which is really lovely. But if there's other civic organizations or anything else that wants to have a table, wants to create a craft and kind of have some engagement, we would absolutely love that. And if there's any musical performances, I think we might have a boombox playing 1776 or maybe Hamilton, all the hits, some colonial music. But if anyone wants to perform, we'll be reading Paul Revere's Ride. We'll be doing that and just having some story time for the kids. But if anyone wants to do a real dramatic version or something like that, we're absolutely open to that. We would love that. So
that sounds amazing.
And we will have a horse named. It was a horse named Finn that will be kind of opening the event. He'll be riding from Fox Tavern down to the Historical Society, down Foster Street to kind of open it. And then depending on how he apparently is a little bit of a skittish horse, but if he's good, he can kind of stay and hang around a little bit.
Very cool.
And then the Boxborough Minutemen, who we typically have at our regular Patriots Day event.
Over at Liberty Square.
So close. They usually come and they're there for us. They fire off their rifles and everything. They'll be obviously doing, there's a lot of, I don't want to say proper April 19th events, but there's a lot of other bigger ones. And so they'll be engaged for the day, but they're planning to come to us around like 2:00. So they'll sort of be like our closing ceremonies, firing their rifles and things like that to sort of end the event.
They're in full regalia.
They're in full garb.
Yeah.
They've got a little drummer. It's really fun. They're wonderful.
That sounds great. Okay, so the intrepid Mark Crory sent me a text and says, the phrase, "the shot heard around the world," was coined by Ralph Waldo Emerson in his 1837 poem Concord Hymn to describe the opening shots of the battles of Lexington and Concord, which marked the start of the American Revolutionary
There we go.
War. Very succinct. Thank you, Mark.
Yes, thank you, Mark. No, that is. As soon as I said Wadsworth, I was like, I know it's not right, but there were so many poets out of Concord. It's hard to keep them all straight.
It's true. Now, if you had said Thoreau, then I would have been like, no, I know that's not it.
How much poetry did Thoreau write?
Not enough, apparently.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that folks can reach out if they're interested in taking part in the celebration or joining. And I know you have a website, but how would they reach out to you? Or to the commission in general? Or
Sure. So the commission does have an email address. So historicalcomm, COMM, historicalcomm at littleton.ma.org. littletonma.org. Yes.
Okay.
So that would be, send us an email. The website for the event itself is littleton250th.com. And there's a link to a Google Doc that you can sign up. And, if anyone wants to write anything or anything like that, they can certainly send an email.
Okay, perfect. So that's Littleton, obviously spelled out, but then 250
TH.com.
Okay.
I know, and it does. This is something that I think everyone's kind of facing. It does sound like it's Littleton's 250th, and we are well over 300. 2014 was the 300th anniversary of the settlement of Littleton, or incorporation, and so it does get confusing, and I do understand. It's very hard to succinctly be like, Littleton celebrates 250th of Patriots Day. It's just, you just gotta
.org.
It gets complicated. So I know it's a little bit of a misnomer. I'll own that, but yeah.
So let's see. We've got a horse named Finn. We've got stocks. We've got cornhole. We've got a DJ or just a boombox?
Well, I guess I'm DJ. I don't know.
You're DJ?
We at least have a boombox
with revolutionary tunes.
Yep.
And what we need next is you. We hope you'll join us at Littleton's 250th celebration of Patriots Day. And again, that's April 19th at 10 a.m. at Liberty Square, and then followed by 11 to 3 at Fay Park. Anything else you want to tell folks about what they can expect, or
everyone, please hope for good weather. Please, whatever the opposite of a rain dance is, please. Hope for sunshine. Hope for a little bit of warmth. That's all I can. Just please show up.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks so much for joining today. I appreciate it, Rachel.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
And that'll be all for today. Thanks very much for listening, and we hope that you'll join us for our next podcast in about 2 weeks.